Hello, welcome to the video on the final exam review packet. What I plan on doing is breaking this video up into 10-minute segments, just so it's not too long. So you should expect maybe about 4 or 5 YouTube video links, and I'll label the problems that I cover on each link so that you'll know which links are appropriate for you to cover if you don't need to see all the solutions. So we'll start with the first two graphs here. Like any graph, you always want to isolate y. So, again, isolate y. So if we do that for number 1, negative 2y is going to equal negative 2 absolute value of x plus 1 minus 2. Then you want to divide everything by negative 2. So you have negative 2 absolute value of x plus 1 minus 2 all over negative 2. Now, be careful here. When you simplify, you must first factor any common terms or numbers. So the top, obviously, you can take out negative 2, leaving me behind the x absolute of x plus 1 minus 2. I'm sorry, I meant to say plus 1. Over negative 2. So those go away. And also, you cannot distribute a number into an absolute expression. Please, 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 please do not do that. If you were to plug in a value for x, you would add to 1, then take absolute value, then multiply negative 2 afterwards. Do not distribute. So y is going to equal the absolute value of x plus 1 plus 1. Now in this case, the general formula is this for absolute value expressions, absolute value equations. So h comma k is going to be negative 1 comma 1. So we plot that, which is right here. And then a is 1, which you can kind of treat like slope, but just to be on the safe side, let's make a quick table. If I plug in 0 and negative 2 into my equation, I should get 2 and 2. So I plot those points as well. And I have the absolute value graph. Number 2. Again, isolate y. So we have this. And then divide by negative 4. And then when we do that, because we're divided by a negative value, you must flip the inequality. Very important. And the thing is kind of like y equals mx plus b, where our m is 3/4 and our b is 2. So we start at 2, go up 3 over 4, make it a dashed line, because it's not equal to, and the shading will be below, because we have less than. Okay, those two graphs are done. Very, very important for number 3, PEMDAS. You gotta be careful with this. And this is one of my biggest pet peeves as a math teacher, is I hate it when students don't obey PEMDAS, because it's one of the most crucial things in any math class. You gotta respect the order of operations. So I won't be forgiving if you do make mistakes here. So clearly we see a parentheses. Let's work on the parentheses. 7/4 minus. Now that'll be 3/2 inside the parentheses because you have 2 times 3/4, and remember that becomes 1, that becomes 2. And also another way of looking at it is 2 over 1 times 3/4, which is 6/4, which is 3/2. You could do it that way as well if you wanted to. But clean up the parentheses. Next is exponent. So we've got to take care of the exponent. So I've done the parentheses, I've done the exponent. There is no multiplication, but there is division. And when you divide a fraction by a whole number, or the other way around, it helps to make it like a fraction. And when you divide, it's like taking the reciprocal, so basically it's 9/4 times 1/3. So we work that out. That'll be 7/4 minus 3/4. Again, we can cross cancel. Or we can multiply it out and reduce afterwards. And then we subtract. There was no addition, but there was subtraction. So 4/4, which reduces to 1. And make sure your answer is simplified. For number 4, f of -3 and g of -2. Let's work each of these out. When you see something inside the parentheses for function notation, you must plug it in for x. I think almost everyone's okay with this by now. At first I know it was a little tough to understand, but just plug in for x and then follow the order of operations. So I do -3 squared times -3, add to 1 to get -26. Then g of -2, negative absolute value -2, minus 4, -2 minus 4, -6, and we want to divide these two together. So we get 13/3. Okay, number 5. We want to solve for x. Check for extraneous solutions, meaning solutions that may not work. Don't worry for final exam. I'm not going to have any problems that I'll deal with extraneous solutions. So that's kind of a gift there. Don't worry about it. But do graph. For inequalities. Okay. So if we work this out, again, you want to isolate x, right? That's how we solve anything. Any equation of inequality, we want to get the variable by itself. So if I multiply everything by -2, that would be probably the first step. Or actually, you know what? Let me take that back. Let's add 4. Okay, let's change the color. Kind of Christmas colors here. Let's add 4 first. So now you got -2 is less than -half x, which is less than 3. Now multiply everything by -2. So that becomes 4. You gotta flip it because you multiply by a negative. That becomes x. Flip it, and that becomes -6. And that is your answer. Or if you want to write it in increasing order, we can write it that way as well. And they're very simple. Here you have a number line. Make them open. Shade in between. Number 6. So for absolute value equation or inequality, very, very important, isolate the absolute expression first. So absolute expression here is 3x minus 1. So I'm going to isolate that first. So you have 2, 3x minus 1 is greater than 14. So I added the 14. Don't distribute. Please, please, please. You cannot distribute here. It doesn't work that way for absolute value. Divide by 2. And then we split into 2 separate inequalities. 3x minus 1 is greater than 7. And here you say 3x minus 1 is less than -7. So 3x is greater than 8. X is greater than 8/3. 3x is less than -6. X is less than -2. And because we're going opposite directions, we use the word or in this case. So here is -2. Here is 8/3. Open, open. And we shade in the opposite directions. Okay, I think after I finish number 8, or actually number 9, then I'll stop this video and start a new one. solve for x. Okay, so remember, fractions muy malo. That means very bad in Spanish, I guess. Trying my Spanish here. Fractions very bad. So get rid of fractions. Multiply by 2. 2xa equals x minus 4 plus 2. Don't forget to multiply to the 1. It's got to be multiplied to everything. And then collect the terms. Collect terms with x on one side. So obviously 2xa has an x in it, and there's an x on the right side. Bring it over. And of course negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Then factor out x. I think that should be pretty obvious. And then x is being multiplied to that expression, 2a minus 1, just divide by it. And that's your answer. Negative 2 over 2a minus 1. Okay, and then number 8. Remember, acidic expressions are written like this. So what is h and k here? Obviously it's that. Negative 2 comma 2. And what is a? Well, notice how we go down 2. No, actually we go down 4. Over 2. So a is going to equal negative 2 in this case. You could have gone down and to the left, and of course that would be a positive slope for the left side of the absolute value graph, but because going down we make a negative. So y equals negative 2 as I have x plus 2 plus 2. Remember, we plug in negative 2 for h. X minus negative 2 is x plus 2. Another way you could have done this, you could plug in h and k, and then you could solve for a, like plugging in another point for x comma y. So if I were to do that, say I plug in 0, negative 6, negative 6 for y and 0 for x. Okay, something doesn't seem right here. What did I do wrong? 0. I'm like totally confused why this is not working out. Oh. Jeez, you guys probably thought I lost my mind. That's negative 2. Okay, bummer I can't rewind this. I apologize. Well, if you knew I was doing this wrong and you're like yelling at the computer screen or calling me an idiot, well, good for you, because I was an idiot. Ah, that's so frustrating. Hard to be perfect here. Okay, so you could plug in. So it's probably good I did it the second way, so I was able to catch my mistake. A is negative 2. So you could do it that way as well. Alright, number 9. And then I'll stop this video and start up a new one. Now remember, slope, when I ask for the slope formula, it's not y equals mx plus b. It's this. That's the slope formula. You guys did this in Algebra 1. You cannot forget. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's absolutely crucial. It actually plays a crucial role in calculus. Ask any senior, they'll tell you how important slope is. Even college students or graduate students in math. Slope is very important. You can never ever forget it. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So just plug it in. We know m is negative 1. We know the y coordinates are negative 5 and 2k. And the other, the x coordinates are k and negative 4. So negative 1 equals negative 5 minus 2k over k plus 4. Then you want to multiply both sides by k plus 4. So you get negative k minus 4 equals negative 5 minus 2k. We get k on this side and negative 1 on this side. That's right. So k equals negative 1. Okay, so that's the first part of the video. I'll start up another one and do all the chapter 3 stuff.